The Catholic Bishop of Lafayette Diocese, Most Reverend David Ajang, has called on Nigerians to allow the tenets of their religion to find expression in their lives, stating that a good Christian and a good Muslim should be someone who can make sacrifice for others.
I think the lessons we could draw at different levels. At the level of the Christian or the individual, the lesson will be, how do I make life easier for others? How do I sacrifice and make life easier for others? You know, I think especially at a time like this in our country, we have to learn. Lately, I notice a great disconnect between our lives and our faith. And I think this is a problem not only for Christians, but also for Muslims. You know, we beat our chest, we scream we are Christians, we scream we are Muslims, but it does not affect our lives at all. And sometimes it seems as if the more we are immersed into our faith, the less it shows in our lives. So I think the lesson at the level of the individual is, how do I make life better for others?
The Chief Shepherd also charged Nigerian leaders to be sincere in their leadership and leading by example and making sacrifices for the betterment of the society.
How do I sacrifice and make life better for others? At the level of the church, the lesson will be for me, how do we make the church truly reflect the person of Christ? You know, because if we are not careful we pay attention to the institutional church and forget why the church was established. Don't forget, the church is not a building so much. The church is about the people. So whether they meet under the mango tree or they meet under the sun, they are still a church. So we must recognize that Christianity is more a way of life than it is like an institutional worship. And thirdly, it's at the level of the leaders, and I happen to be a leader myself. You know, I ask myself, the same spirit of sacrifice, it must be underneath all that we do. And unfortunately today, the leaders, we call everyone else to sacrifice except ourselves. You see this clearly in our country, you know. We practice this so much that everyone else is expected to make sacrifices except the leader. And I don't think that will all go well. So these are the three different levels I think we can allow the death of Jesus to influence our lives. The Easter message for me still goes back to everything I have said. We must remind ourselves, go back to the basics of Christianity. From the name Christian, it is Christ-like, you know. So we should never allow there to be a disconnect between our lives and the faith. You know, for as long as we are not able to practice what we preach, then we have not yet started. And if you see how things are going, we keep getting bad at it. You know, we were better a few years ago. According to research, people are not as empathetic now as they were 10 years ago or 20 years ago. You know, and yet we claim that the number of Christians is increasing. So it shows that we are deviating from the basics of Christianity. And I think this is a call for us to go back to what it means to be Christian.